Huge controversy going on right now because you may be familiar with the Game Awards, which these days is basically just a big commercial show for AAA publishers to peddle their games. You get about 7 minutes of awards actually being given out. Even the winner of Game of the Year, and we're going to talk about the nominees, that is the controversy. The winner of this grand prestigious award gets to talk for about 90 seconds before they're kicked off the stage for another ad. But the big controversy, the big snub is that we've got our 6 nominees for Game of the Year. We've got Astrobot, we've got Black Myth Wukong, we've got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but there's no Dragon Age the Veilguard here. BioWare's magnum opus is missing. And how could this have possibly happened? I was convinced by all the trustworthy journos that it was absolutely going to be a contender. It should have been here. And it does seem like they're just as upset because one of them's put out an article here. Polygon, our friends over here, they put out this article. There was one big snub in the Game Awards nominations. Dragon Age the Veilguard, a game engineered to succeed at the Game Awards, did not. What does that mean, engineered to succeed at the Game Awards? Is it something to do with the panel of experts they apparently have? Because you can't have real players, real customers, gamers deciding on the winner. It's got to be the panel of experts. And it's pretty obvious that Polygon is shocked that the Veilguard wasn't pushed through by this panel because it's doing the right thing. It's trying to tell a message, a story, rather than just focusing on game quality. I mean, who would care about game quality when there's more important things going on in the world, apparently? But if we just look at the best parts of the article, it continues, the Game Awards voting jury snubbed BioWare's latest game in a series of key categories where it would have been expected to compete. It secured just one measly nomination for innovation in accessibility, which is decided by a specialist jury. So it's another panel of experts, it sounds like. And where do they pull these people from? Because it seems like no matter who you get on these panels, doesn't matter who, the nominations, for the most part, still end up being like the most mainstream games that you can possibly get. Like, what a coincidence. We've got here in most accessibility, innovation in accessibility, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Diablo 4, Dragon Age the Veilguard, Star Wars Outlaws, Prince of Persia The Lost Crown as well, but that game annoys me because I actually bought it to support it because I was like, the one Ubisoft game that isn't the same copy and pasted crap, so I wanted to support it, haven't yet played it, but they shut down the studio anyway due to low sales, so I basically wasted my money, thank you Ubisoft. I will say this though, this is my problem with the accessibility category, because again, most of these games, the Lost Crown aside, they've got mammoth budgets, and all of the teams, at least for most of these games, they seem to have spent their time on accessibility, and I think they do it for virtue signaling reasons. Most of these people don't give a shit about someone's colorblind, or someone's got one arm and they struggle to play and they've got to put a feature in for them. Most of them don't really care. It's just virtue signaling. They want to outcompete each other for, I'm the savior, I'm doing this for everyone. But most of them fail, really, to make their games accessible, because most of these games suck. Doesn't matter how open you make it, how many people can play it who otherwise might not be able to. If the content is garbage and lazy, and in the Veilguard's case, the writing's pathetic, Star Wars Outlaws, the gameplay, it's worse than Assassin's Creed 2, despite being the exact same format that Ubisoft have been copying for like 15 years now. You've got to make actual good content if you want it to be accessible for people to actually play it. And this is the truth as well, forgetting the content. If you actually want to make your game as accessible as possible, available to as many people as possible, you need to make your game moddable. As moddable as possible, make it easy for people to mod without being sort of a technical expert, like Bethesda. Despite their recent decline, I would bet you that Fallout 4 and Skyrim are the most accessible games ever. Not really because of Bethesda making them accessible, but because the community, modders, would have put any accessibility feature that is possible in those games. Anything is possible. Much more than in, I don't know, Diablo 4 or whatever else. Because I'm Pretty sure with Diablo 4 Blizzard, they've tried to, on purpose, make their game less moddable because they're worried about a Dota 2 situation. That started as a mod from, I think, was it Warcraft 3 or something? So they're scared of mods. So they're holding back accessibility, and yet they're up for a reward. And Dragon Age the Veilguard, I mean, the only thing that anyone can objectively say they've even had a go at is accessibility. And again, they did that for political virtue signaling reasons. They don't really care at the end of the day. It wasn't impartially making it accessible. They're just clowns. They suck at everything else. So they spend their time on things that 99% of people don't really care about. And the 1% who might be able to take advantage of accessibility, again, they're not going to bother because the game sucks. And if we go back to the article, it continues, this is a surprise that it's been snubbed as a narrative-led blockbuster in a famous series with slick production values. Dragon Age the Veilguard is exactly the kind of game that tends to do well at the Game Awards. Its predecessor, Dragon Age Inquisition, won Game of the Year in TGA's inaugural year 2014. I know that these game journalism sites are having a hard time. Talent is slim. There's not many people that can get to write these articles. Unprecedented layoffs. But what does this mean? That a previous game in the series that came out 10 years ago, that won a Game of the Year award. So therefore, it's puzzling that the new one that sucks, no one likes. It's either at mixed reviews on Steam now or very close to it. This is like being puzzled that Batman Returns, like the Tim Burton Batmans, were winning Movie of the Year, but then the George Clooney one didn't win. And then you're like, why is this happening? What's going on? Watch the damn movie, play the damn game, and you will see. Granted, the reception to the Veilguard has been mixed. Okay, so he's figured it out. Why were you confused? And with its Metacritic rating settling at 82, it's only at 82 because of your corruption. And that goes for the rest of your peers, the IGNs and so on. So basically, if you looked at it, every person who reviewed the game, not just the outlet, the specific reviewer who was chosen to review it, it was either pronouns in the bio or non-binary. Probably both, now that I think about it. So here you're basically admitting that the player score and the critic score, it wasn't in sync. There was no synergy. And why was that? Well, it's because the players are honest. They've sadly parted with their money if they made the bad mistake of playing for more than 2 hours on Steam. They can't get a refund. They're pissed. They're leaving a negative review because the game was awful. It's not the Dragon Age that they were expecting, that they were told this was, despite the marketing, because BioWare lied and said, no, it's going to be the same tone and everything. No, the marketing team just made an honest mistake. Obviously, that was bullshit. So the players hated it. You claimed it was good. Polygon and any other website like this claimed it was good. And that's what happened to get the score up to 82. It was a lie. Everyone quickly caught on to it. And you're still playing ball with that. You're still lying about it. Why? Just, you don't have to keep up the charade anymore. You really don't, because it's over now. BioWare, EA got all the sales that they were ever going to get. No one else is buying it. The player numbers show it. So a nomination for Game of the Year seen beyond its reach, even though it is 1 point higher than Black Myth Wukong, which did make the cut. Is that real? Black Myth Wukong is lower on Metacritic than the Veilguard? That just exposes the corruption all the more. And it's quite funny because all of these outlets who talk about racism and sexism and everything else, there's a very clear bias against non-Western games. You've got the BioWares of the world, and also in the last year, like all these no-name Sweet Baby Inc. games that came out of nowhere, some of them have like decent-sized budgets. Unknown Number 9 or whatever it was called, Tales of Kazarazao, which I think is also up for some sort of Game of the Year award. It's like most impactful game. I think you've got Life is Strange in that category as well. So like just biggest wank game of the year award that's about politics, social issues, not actually about anything to do with games, anything people really care about. But that one's on there. But you get these Sweet Baby Inc. games that, where did the budget even come from? Because there's zero demand. We know the answer. It starts with a D, it ends in an I. But the Polygons of the world have been propping up these games, giving them at the very least middling Metacritic scores when they really deserve to be absolutely in the red. Terrible games that no one wants to play, and yet a lot of games from across the sea, like Stellar Blade was getting punished by reviewers. A lot of other games as well. It may not even just be like a Western bias, like indie developers too, they're always getting punished for all the same things that the AAA big publishers get a pass for. And I remember with Bethesda as well, this was going on for years, where like Fallout 3, Skyrim, despite bugs, technical issues, they never got punished by reviewers. And then suddenly, with like Fallout 76, Starfield, suddenly the critics get permission to criticize them, and finally they're honest. They actually say what we're all thinking, for once. They haven't done that with the Veilguard, though. They're not allowed to criticize the Veilguard, because the devs, they share the critics' political view, so that's a no-go. And really, if I'm being honest, like, for once I kind of agree with Polygon, because they're kind of right at the end of the day. You can make fun of them, the article title and everything, it sounds ridiculous. But they say Dragon Age the Veilguard, a game engineered to succeed at the Game Awards, and it did not. It's kind of true, because the clowns at the Game Awards who are in charge of it, again, those stupid committees, they would rank a game based on social issues, how it's pushing things forward, not gaming, but the real world. That's what really matters. This game can be an opportunity for the right things. But the truth is, due to the current political climate, and basically every game that is focusing on non-game things, if you're trying to push social issues, the games are failing. They're not doing very well. So the Game Awards are probably kind of scared of suffering the same fate. They're not touching that crap. They've hidden the Veilguard. Again, Life is Strange, all the crap stuff off to the side in other categories, accessibility, most impactful, or whatever it was. They've hidden them, and they're trying to focus on at least what some people would say is the best games. That's kind of a win, I guess. At least they're focusing on gaming. Still don't really care, because no one really gives a toss about the Game Awards. But I'll leave it there. Thanks for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.